Hey, what's going on, Players Lounge? Aaron Murray here. Got another great week of content for you, former players, current players. But first off, before we get into the interviews, make sure you get ready. March 1st, brand new spanking platform. Going to be the best platform to consume content ever. We get all the best players, former players, current players, very interactive point system. Just make sure you check it out, the Players Lounge, March 1st, the big unveil. So get your mind right. We're super excited. So, our first guest this week, one of my former teammates, one of the most intimidating individuals in the locker room when he took his shirt off. Rennie Curran, just Mr. He looked like a turtle, just shredded, more abs than I've ever seen. You and Brandon Boykin, like
That's funny.
I don't know, man. I felt like I went on so many diets, but I can never look like you two. Welcome to the show, brother. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. Always good to see you and always good to connect, man, with former teammate, man. Yeah, I appreciate you having me on.
All right, before we'll get into the workout program because there's a lot of people watching this want to know. I myself want to know, how do I get like Rennie Curran? I feel like my testosterone's going down, so I need extra help in this category too. Just getting when you have two kids, man, it's so damn hard to stay in shape. Anyways,
Man,
my problems later on the show. Let's focus on you for a little bit before we get into the workouts. Just an update. I know a lot of fans out there. Obviously, they're huge fans of you, what you did at Georgia, drafted into the NFL, played in the NFL, grew up right outside Atlanta. So just give an update, man. How's life been post football? What are you doing?
yeah, I appreciate you starting with that, man. We all know after that transition or after football, it's always super tough, man. That's where the real game starts, I like to say. And for me, my transition started before my career actually ended. So as I was progressing throughout my career, playing at University of Georgia, making it to the NFL, the CFL eventually got cut early on. And so that presented me with the opportunity to start building my personal brand, doing things like public speaking, getting out into the community. I know we did some camps together in the past and we had the chance to share our stories. So it really started there, just going and speaking to teams, speaking at churches, and then it really just grew into speaking to Rotary clubs and businesses, and eventually wrote my first book. And it's really become something that's become a big part of who I am now in my business, and I've been able to take my brand as an athlete and transfer it over into the business world, talking about things like that we all know: leadership, teamwork, high performance mindset, and really using that past experience to now be able to go and impact organizations, associations, sales teams. Also on the coaching side, people ask me all the time, are you doing football coaching? I'm like, nah, I am doing leadership and business coaching. So I'm working with executives, with entrepreneurs, helping them with everything from accountability, helping them to get clarity on their personal brand, just like the process I went through. And then also just really helping them achieve their goals and reach their fullest potential. And then outside of business, I also have a nonprofit as well called the Game Changers Foundation. And we support student athletes in becoming leaders in sports, business, and life. And we do that through mentorship and leadership development. So that's a lot of what I do now. And of course, my most important job, just like you, is being a father. My daughter is 14 years old. She was born in Athens. When I left, to go to the league, she was like 2 years old. So I can't believe how fast time has gone by. And I know you say the same thing as well when it comes to your kids, but that's my most important job, is trying to be a great father every single day.
Well, good thing that you don't have as much hair as I do, so those grays aren't showing as much as they're showing on me right now. Once you get
Oh
them
man,
kiddos rolling, I,
yeah,
I
man.
I love I love what you're doing because I feel like it's so much of what you do when it deals with the businesses and the leadership aspect and the teamwork. It's something that we've done our whole lives. Like we have grown
Yeah,
up of being a part, especially football. Like football is the ultimate team game. It's the ultimate leadership game, especially my position, your position. I mean, I'm making all the plays, calls on the
mm-hmm.
offense. You at middle linebacker, you're making all the calls on defense. Like guys are looking to you to get set up formationally and make the adjustments based on what the offense is doing. How much of that have you seen translate into what it means to be a good business? All the stuff that we learned on the football field.
Oh, I mean, everything. Like, I didn't realize just how many things translated until I really started to, interview different business leaders. And the way that I approach speaking and the way that I approach my business is exactly how I would have approached getting ready for a game, on a Saturday. I really take the time to study their patterns, their tendencies. I look at even what their culture is, right? Like I really try to understand the mindset of that leader that's bringing me in to speak. So it's not something where I'm just going in and I'm just giving something off the top of my head. Now I study them just like I did at linebacker. And so that alone, man, is something that translates so much to preparation. And that's what gets me fired up. Just when I go into that room and I've looked at, their industry and I've really studied what their objectives are for the year. And I know their vision and I know their mission better than they do. And I go in there and it's like I can anticipate based off their body language exactly what I need to say, exactly what I need to deliver to get them inspired, but also give them strategies that are going to help them improve. And then beyond that, man, it's that energy, man. Same thing that I try to do as a leader when we needed a big play. I try to bring that into every single room that I step into. So just letting them know that, hey, when I come in here, something good is going to happen. Something's good. Something's about to change. So just that mindset piece, man, is huge. And that's what we all see as athletes is you got those guys who are great at what they do, those who are inconsistent, and it all comes down to mindset. So that's another thing that translates. And beyond that, there's a teamwork aspect. Are people operating in silos? Like we can all remember those teams we played on where guys were all together. We were playing with love for each other. We played with that swagger. And then those times when we're all operating as individuals. The same thing applies in the business world. So I can go on and on and on just about the different transferable themes and transferable skills that relate to both sports and business that set the good ones from the great ones.
I think one thing that you've always been good at is the social media, and it's a little bit harder for, I would say, guys like our age, because we didn't grow up in it. Like these kids nowadays, like my son can
Mm-hmm.
pick up a damn phone and say, "Daddy, I want to watch YouTube," or "Daddy, I want to see TikTok." I'm like, "You're 2 years old. Like, who told you what the hell TikTok is? Tell your mother stop letting you
Right.
watch TikTok." But like they know it, like they grew up in it, so they feel really comfortable being able to
Mm-hmm.
express themselves to the public. Where for me, it took me a while to kind of get out of my shell and like kind of utilize Instagram or TikTok. Like I just made a TikTok like 2 months ago, for goodness sakes. But you've been someone who I feel like in our generation's kind of been ahead of the game when it comes to social media. How did you break out of that shell and essentially open up your who you are and what you're doing to the public in that fashion?
Man, it was definitely a journey. I'll be straight up honest, man. Like it wasn't always something where I was confident in doing it because there's always that imposter syndrome when you're, I feel like an athlete and that's what you're known for. Because there's always that thought in your head that's like, man, okay, what are people going to say about this? Like, of course, they know me as a linebacker, but they don't really necessarily know me as Rennie Curran, the author, or Rennie Curran, the speaker who speaks on leadership and culture. So there's a lot of that imposter syndrome that I had to, and that I continually still have to deal with, right? Is it's like I'll post something about Georgia football and it gets 1,000 likes, and then I post something about a speech I just did and it gets 50 likes. So it's like you can't allow. That was one of the biggest transitions for me is not allowing like my value and my self worth to be defined by likes and to be defined by validation from other people. And that started even way back before Facebook, before people. I'm sure people remember MySpace. That was where it kind of
Hey,
started. Yeah, okay, let's throw it back to MySpace, man. So that was where it all started. But I really, for me, a big part of just what I try to do on social media was just make an impact, man. Just say something that's going to inspire somebody. Really think it back to my days and everything that I was trying to accomplish, and then thinking to myself, okay, what did I need to hear when I was at that 17-year-old or 18-year-old stage, or what did I need to hear when I was going through my transition? And just really leaning on that, man, my past experiences and using that to make an impact and just have empathy and use that to drive my messaging.
for those who don't know MySpace, Rennie just aged the absolute shit out of himself with that one right there. MySpace was the
Oh man, the
OG
OG
Facebook
man.
before it was there. Speaking of like OG things, someone told me today the original iPhone, so the first one that came out like in 2007, someone had like an original packaged iPhone they sold for $60,000.
Oh wow.
Which I'm like, I don't know what the person's going to do with it, but I guess like any new fun technology, You should just buy it, buy two, keep one just in case you can sell it in like, well, I guess 15, 16 years later from that first iPhone. But damn, we're old.
Man.
MySpace. God, it was so much fun.
Yeah, boy.
But like I said, man, you absolutely kick butt. I love what you said there though about not worrying about the likes, because I think I myself included, like I'm so consumed with it. Like I'll look at my phone, I'll post something and I'll look at it like every hour, like how many more likes I get, how many more
Right.
views do I get? Like we are so trained to be so consumed to see that number keep going up and up and up and up. And I
Mm-hmm.
think it's detrimental, especially for young kids. Like, what would be your message to kids about how to handle that and not worry so much about the likes you're getting, but more importantly, are you doing the right thing?
Yeah, I mean that's huge, and that goes beyond social media. I look at so many, especially athletes now, where there's the rankings, there's the scholarships. There's so many things that serve as a form of external validation. And for me, my message to any athlete, whether you're an athlete or not, um, whether it's sports, whether it's social media, like you really have to focus on who you're becoming as a person, through these different tools and through these different resources. And that's my biggest thing. Like, yes, you can get a million likes, but what is it that you're growing towards? Are you moving towards your vision, or are you not? Are you becoming a better person from this, or is it just a distraction or something that you're using to entertain instead of being an influencer? And so that's my message to a lot of athletes, a lot of people in general. Like, don't let these things use you. Use it. Use it for the tool that it is, whether it's to make an impact, whether it's to educate, whether it's to empower somebody. But don't let these things use you and consume you, because it can be a very, very negative thing that can, just make you feel like you're worthless, right? When you get on there and you post something from your heart and nobody responds, it can make you like really, really doubt yourself, doubt the value of your thoughts, the value of your perspective. When in reality, it's like you may impact one person, you may get one opportunity that can change your entire life. So I try to really look at it that way and really, communicate that to people in terms of the importance of not focusing on those things that ultimately don't even matter.
All right, so we're gonna cut that whole thing up and post it. I hope it gets a shitload of likes. That's all I'm saying right now, because
Hey,
that
let's
was
put it
so
out there.
good.
Why not?
That's the
Why not?
hey God. I mean, it's just you're so I needed that, honestly. Like I really need that, because I said, man, so consumed with
Yeah.
likes, views, and you have to change your mindset. Are you doing the right thing? Are you doing something that you enjoy? And are you, like you said, are you changing at least maybe one person's life with some of the stuff that you are doing and sharing about your life? I think is so powerful. Something that we didn't have in this NIL space to build our brands. We didn't have the NIL, and now these kids do, and they have the opportunity to kind of show who they are off the field. I want to go back just after the MySpace era when you were in college. How would you have utilized NIL to build your brand? Like, what would you have gone out there
Man.
and tried to do? And who would you have want to essentially partnered with?
Man, that is super loaded, because I know for me, like, it was struggle bus when I was in college. Like, my family was really, really hurting. My mom was paying all the bills at that time. I had just become a father. So I can't lie and say, hindsight's always 2020, right? I can't lie and say up here like I would have been managing in the right way. I probably would have been one of those guys who would have been trying to get anything at first. Like, I mean, I would have been on there eating chicken wings and saying, go get this, go get this meal or whatever. But I know I can definitely say that as I matured during that time, I would have been looking for more educational opportunities and relationship building opportunities through NIL. So not looking at necessarily the money, but how can I go into this organization and understand the mindset of this CEO and build a long-term relationship with them, so that 10 years after, I'm still able to come back and I'm still able to do deals with them, or maybe I have part ownership, some equity, right? That's what those are the type of things that I would be looking towards. And how can I also leverage the impact that I'm making on the field to now build a stronger relationship with the fans through NIL? So the thing I'm thinking about, okay, back in Snellville, what am I doing to kind of establish myself back home? Because I know when my playing days are over, I'm going to be back in Atlanta. I'm going to be back in Snellville. So how can I start to really establish myself in my brand, and through NIL, start to monetize those relationships that are going to be long term, not just for a moment, and not just something that I can post on social media, but really thinking long term. And that's something that I always tried to do when I was at Georgia. That's why I tried to just treat people right, make sure I wasn't an asshole, and I talk to kids, not just sign their autograph, but just take that little bit of time with them, ask them what their goals were, what their dreams were, or just that random person who would be at a bar or whatever. Just have that conversation, man. It goes such a long way. So that's what I believe would have been my mindset when it came to NIL.
Yeah, that's why I always try to tell kids, like, just especially at Georgia, like, just do right. Like,
Man,
just be a good
right.
person, man. Like, off the field, on the field,
Thank you.
give back in the community, and you will be so set the rest
Right.
of your life if you decided to live in this. Like, people are like, oh, why don't you move back to Tampa? I was like, well, because I did the right things when I went to school at Georgia, and I'd be a freaking
Right.
idiot to leave the state of
Seriously.
Georgia because, man, Georgia dogs take care of dogs. I'll tell you that. You
Yes.
know it, I know it. Dogs take care of dogs. So just do the right thing. Go to
I agree.
class, get good grades, give back in the community, be nice to everyone you meet, and man, you'll live a pretty damn good life at the end of it. All
Yeah.
right, I teased
And
it
I'll
at the
say this.
beginning.
Let
Go
me
ahead.
say this too, man. Like just to add to that, for anybody that's watching, that's a young guy that's thinking about coming to Georgia, I'll tell you now, like 60 to 70% of my business now is Georgia folks and people
Mm-hmm.
who know live remember how I treated them 10 years ago. Like I've had several times where guys like, hey, you don't remember this, but you spoke to my son and I'll never forget what you said to him, or you did this and I'll never forget it. Like just moments like that. So our fans are not only are they amazing, but they do not forget. They do not forget. So I just want to add that, man.
No, they really don't. I've many stories just like that. I mean, it's awesome. All right, what we all came here for, the workout plan, because you're still like, I'm doing too much cardio. I think I need to lift more weights. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
What's the secret sauce behind the Rennie Curran workout plan? What is the consistency? And
Mm.
two things. What's the plan, and how do you mentally stay so consistent? Because we see so many guys, like, once you're out of football, they get soft, they get squishy,
Yeah.
and you're far from being squishy.
Man, so this is my mentality now. So linebacker, playing linebacker for me, it wasn't just a position. It wasn't just about getting to University of Georgia. It wasn't just about getting to the NFL. For me, it's a lifestyle. Like being a playmaker, being a game changer. That's how I approach my life. And so when it comes to my workout, when I get in there, I'm going hard. I'm going hard. So I'm training. Like I still got my same speed and agility ladders that I still use to this day. So I'm still doing a lot of this, incorporating a lot of the same drills that I did when I was an athlete. Like it helped me to mentally get to a certain state in sports. So why wouldn't I use that in business? And the greatest, I tell you, man, the greatest thing that happened for me was when I sat down and I wrote down what made Rennie Curran a great linebacker. And then I wrote down all those things. So I wrote down the mindset, I wrote down the work ethic, I wrote down, you know, the mentality of being a good teammate, the humility, the coachability. And then it's like I transferred that over to who I am now. And I realized that that's not who Rennie Curran was as a linebacker. That's who Rennie Curran is. And so that's how I'm going to approach every single thing that I do. So when I get in that weight room, man, I try to keep the same schedule, right? So Monday, we usually would do upper body. So I'm doing upper body on Monday. And then on Wednesday, I don't go as hard every single day like that, but I go Monday, Wednesday, and I go Friday. So Monday is upper body, Wednesday is lower body, Friday is like a light full body workout. And then in between those days, I'm doing the stretching. I'm doing just a quick, kind of workout in the morning as part of my routine just to stay on track. But really, man, more than anything, it's about my mindset. It's about my mindset and just making sure that I keep that same mentality that I had when I was on the field, because it really does impact everything, especially when you're an entrepreneur and you don't have that accountability of going into the
Mm-hmm.
office and you don't have people to report to. You don't have an itinerary. You got to create your own itinerary. I still, like I said, every single day I wake up, I'm hungry, man. I gotta eat. I gotta go hunt. I gotta make plays. And part of that is keeping my mind and my body in that elite state.
I'll tell you what, the Rennie Curran and Brandon Boykin workout routines need to just be posted everywhere for all dog fans like you too. I think there was one
That's a good
poster like a
idea,
preseason.
actually.
There was like a preseason poster. I was in it with you, and we're wearing our cutoff shirts. I'm like, man, why they gotta do me like that? Don't put me next to Rennie and TK and like,
That's
I'm a
hilarious.
quarterback. I ain't supposed to lift like that, and you do. I'm just oh, freaking jacked up.
Hey, man.
Uh,
Yes, sir. I
last one
love
before I
it.
let you go, Rennie. Um,
Yeah.
we talk about what is Georgia in the sense of like RBU, all the great running backs. We've seen
Mm,
some incredible tight ends, and there's a push for possible tight end year. Where are they on the rankings? There, linebackers at Georgia have always been stout. Man, we had N'Kobe on 2 weeks ago too. We've had some great linebackers. Got some freshman
yeah.
linebackers coming on next week. What does it mean to be the starting middle linebacker at the University of Georgia?
Mm, man, that it's everything. Like I remember still to this day, and I talk about this when I speak, man, just going into that stadium at 10 years old and just dreaming. And, I don't know if you know a lot about how I got to Georgia and things like that, but I was not the guy. I was an underdog, in every, in every facet of the name I just was not that guy who they looked at and was like, he's our go-to. I remember talking to Bobo and a lot of the coaches, and they weren't necessarily high on me at that time. I was in my like sophomore year, so to go from that, man, to actually being a starting middle linebacker, that guy who was 5'10" and a half, 5'11", barely with braces, and being able to be in the same position as the Odell Thurmans and Tony Taylors and I mean Thomas Davis. I mean, so many amazing players. Randall Godfrey. Like I studied that, I was religious with it. So to go from that, man, to being a child that with that dream to actually living it, it was everything. It is much more, like I said, than just playing linebacker. It's a lifestyle. So everything that you represent, man, has to be that of excellence, and it's about effort. I listen to guys like Ray Lewis, and he talks about it all the time. But effort is between you and you, and so that's what I tried to bring every single play, every single down at University of Georgia. And that's what I hope that each guy that gets the chance to walk in those shoes and be in that position, I hope that they approach it the same way as well. And what I realized when I got in that position is how many young kids that I represented. It's like I became a spokesperson for the underdogs. Like just so many times I would hear, man, Rennie, my son, he's on the team right now, and his coach isn't letting him play this position because they think he's too small. But he believes because you did it, and so it was just so much bigger than just getting to that position. It was just knowing that, man, you inspire so many people by what you do. Like there was children in Liberia, in my family's home country, that I never ever met, but because I was in that position, man, they now believe that they have a chance and they can do something. They can change the trajectory for their families. So man, I could go on and on, but it was just such a powerful experience. Just knowing not just the fact that I overcame the adversity, but just what it represented for so many people.
Rennie Curran, the stud. I'm just happy that you never had the opportunity to tackle me in real life because that shit would have hurt bad. Not gonna lie, that would
Oh
not have
man,
felt good.
that would have been fun, man.
Cornelius said, "Hey, our boy Cornelius Washington. I don't know if you're still there or not. He did hit me one practice though. He got so
Oh
fed up with
man,
Coach Rick, not blowing the whistle that he actually hit me and Ben
that's
Jones.
hilarious.
He had so many damn good Ben Jones stories. Ben
Oh
Jones was
yeah,
chasing
man, I miss
Cornelius
that guy.
around the field just
That's
chase him like
hilarious.
Ben. You ain't gonna catch him. It's okay. Just come back. I appreciate you taking up for me, but you ain't catching Cornelius. He's a freak. So, man, appreciate you. Good luck with everything. Make sure y'all go follow Rennie on all of his socials. Doing great work. And if you're a business leader and need some great business education in the sense of leadership, teamwork, make sure you go hit Rennie up. And once again, new platform coming out March 1st. Gonna be awesome. Super, super interactive with players, fans, everything. So make sure you check it out at the Players Lounge, and we will catch you again on our next show.